Good afternoon, folks. This is Twisted Nightmare Gaming. This is Nightmare here, and we have a very special guest today for a very special deck profile. This is Lunarstar103 here. Go check out her channel when you get a chance. She's gonna be, and I'm gonna let her take it over from here. What deck she's gonna be profiling.
Hi guys. Alright, so today I'm going to be doing a profile for the Spellcaster deck. I'm going to give you a little backstory of this deck first off. This is actually the very first deck that I had. Pretty much when I first came into the little group of friends that Twisted Nightmare Gaming and I know, they pretty much helped me make this deck, and we've changed it so many times. This is pretty much my ace deck. I'm gonna say that right now. This is my ace deck, so I'm gonna show you. We're gonna break it down in monsters, field, and spell cards and trap cards that I have. So we'll go ahead, and I also have a little side deck right here for
extra deck
fusions.
Extra deck.
Yeah, my extra deck for fusions, links, synchros, and exceeds. So let's get started with my main deck. Alright, so first off I have 3 Dark Magicians. And if you're running a Dark Magician type deck, you want to have these 3. You can see these 2 here. They're newer versions of the Dark Magician, and this one here as well. So I have the newer versions of the Dark Magician. They're still the same. 25 attack, 2100 defense. And then I have 2 Magician of Dark Illusions. And this can be treated as Dark Magician while it's on the field. And you can use any one of its effects. During your opponent's turn, you can activate a spell trap card. Or the other one is you can activate a spell trap card or effect while this card is faced up on your field. And you can target up to 1 Dark Magician in your graveyard and special summon it. And what's good with a magician if you don't have an apprentice? So we have 2 apprentice illusion magician. This one is you can special summon it from your hand by discarding 1 card. And if you normal or special summon it, you can add 1 Dark Magician card from your deck to your hand. And pretty much, if we have any other dark spellcaster monsters, opponent battles, you could send this card from your hand face up from your field to the graveyard. That monsters you control gains 2,000 attack and defense during that damage calculation only. Now this is a really good card, I'm not gonna lie. This is pretty good. We have 3 Magician's Rods, and this is pretty much good in combination with a spell card. You can go ahead and use that. When you normal summon it, you can add a spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, and pretty much after that you can activate it.
But it specifically has to list Dark Magician.
Yeah, it has to have Dark Magician in its name. So you can't just pick any random. You can't just pick any random card. It has to have Dark Magician, because if you see, it has the outline of Dark Magician. So pretty much it's saying, you need Dark Magician. So this is really good in combination with a spell card I'm going to show you in a bit. And we have 3 Effect Veilers. Now this can help you out a bit if you're in a jam. You have her in your hand, you can just discard her to negate the effect of a monster from your opponent's side of the field, or you can use her for a synchro summon, because she is a tuner. But mostly I've seen people just pretty much have her in the hand, and they pretty much just discard her
As a hand trap. Correct.
Yeah. And it's a 1-star, so pretty much not going to be able to do much unless if you keep her on the field for a synchro summon.
Well, there is a card that I did give you a while back that we haven't gotten a chance to put in your extra deck, which is Link Karibo.
Yes. The last monster card that I have is a Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. And if I have it normal summoned, or if I flip it face up, I can add a Spellbook spell from my deck to my hand, which I actually do have, which is the next one I'm going to show you guys now. Well, I'm going to show you some of the spells that I do have. I have, starting off, we have 3 Dark Magical Circles. These Dark Magical Circles will help you out. When you activate it, you can look at the top 3 cards, and then you can reveal 1 Dark Magician or 1 spell or trap card that has Dark Magician in its text name. And remember how I said that with Rod it can help you out? Well, this can be it. You can have this. You can have Rod out, and you can summon up Dark Magical Circle, and it could pretty much help you out if you need to have something in there that can, if you want to summon up Dark Magician early, you can go ahead, you can activate that.
Don't forget the other effect.
Yeah, I was getting to it. Let's see. It says you can target up to one of your opponent's, one of the cards your opponent controls. You can banish it, and we could only use this effect once per turn.
How is it that it does that effect activates though? Because that's the thing that you didn't mention.
Yeah. Well, once we find a card that lists Dark Magician or has Dark Magician in its name, we could add it to our hand and also place the remaining cards on it, and we could, in any order that we have, and we could just put it back in the deck. And if we normal or special summon Dark Magician to the field, then we can go ahead and target up to 1 monster your opponent controls and then banish it. You can only use it once per turn. Now this can help you out if you're trying to figure out what's the quickest way you can go ahead and try and get Dark Magician onto the field. This can help you out in combination with what I showed you with Rod. It can pretty much just help you out in some ways. So I have 2 Dark Magic attacks that if you have Dark Magician on your field, if you control it, you can destroy all spell or trap cards your opponent controls. So basically, if you see your opponent has some spell or trap cards on the field, you're not sure what you want to do, and you have Dark Magic attack in your hand, and you have Dark Magician on the field, activate it, you could destroy the spells or trap cards. I have Dark Magic Inheritance. It says banish 2 spells from your graveyard and add 1 spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. That specifically has to say Dark Magician in its text name, or Dark Magician Girl. Except for this, you can only activate this once per turn. Reason why we only have 1 is because, you know, there's only maybe a few cards that will have like either 1 or both of its names in its text name. So run 1 if you just want to. That's how I do it. Next one is Illusion Magic. So if you have a Spellcaster type monster, you could tribute 1, and you could add up to 2 copies of Dark Magician from your deck and or your graveyard to your hand. So if you only have like 1 in your deck but the other one's in the graveyard, or if you have 2 in the graveyard, you can go ahead and do that. But you can only activate this once per turn.
It does work. It does come in handy to use that with attributing like either Blue Boy or Rod.
Yeah.
Because of Rod's other effect.
I bet you guys didn't see this coming, but if you guys know, I have 2 The Eye of Timaeus, and pretty much you could target a Dark Magician monster you control. You can fusion summon it to fusion summon a monster, but you can only use this. You can only use this card Once per turn.
Unfortunately, this is not a searchable card for Rod, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you feel that, if you add this and you have Rod in there, you can find it. No, it really doesn't work that much that way. So I have 2 Spellbook of Secrets. So pretty much this says that you add a Spellbook card from your deck to your hand, except for Secrets, and you can only activate it once. You can only activate this once per turn, which it can help you because it could pretty much help you summon up this one, which is Spellbook of Knowledge, which is the next one that I have.
Which we do need to switch that out because I do have another one to put in this deck to switch out one of the secrets for.
Okay. So it's pretty much, you can send to the graveyard either a Spellcaster monster or one Spellbook card you have face up from the field, except for Knowledge, and you can draw up to 2 cards, and you can only activate this once per turn.
Correct.
So I have Book of Eclipse. Pretty much, if you guys know Book of Eclipse, what its effect does. For those of you that don't know, you can pretty much just change whichever monster that's on the field. You could put them face down defense position, and that can work until the end of the turn. And then it will go ahead and it could be flipped right side up again. Regeki, as you know, destroys all monsters the opponent controls. This can help you out. If you're really old school, you know what this one does. Darkhold destroys all the monsters on the field, unless if you have a card that pretty much specifically says that it cannot be destroyed by any card effect, then by all means. We have Monster Reborn. Fortunately, I don't have the newer version of Monster Reborn. I have this one right here. And you can special summon a monster from the player's deck. Okay, these last ones. I saved these 3 for last for the spell cards, and I think I know which ones I'm talking about. It is the vein of Nightmare's extents, but if you're really looking for something to where you can't have your opponent activate spell cards unless he or she has a spellcaster out, this will pretty much help you. 3 Secret Village of the Spellcasters. I love this field spell. It has helped me out. Basically, if you guys don't know, if you control a spellcaster type monster and your opponent doesn't, then your opponent cannot activate spell cards at all. However, there is a bit of a twist. If you don't have a spellcaster monster on your field, you cannot activate spell cards, but your opponent can. This is pretty much has helped me out because, vaguely, it's a spellcaster deck, and I first saw... I got one of these cards because I liked the design and everything of it when there was a card shop right by where I lived, and then I got 2 other ones because they saw how it was, and they said it could help you out, and I loved it, and I've had these ever since. I know you don't like them, so
yeah, except for when I play Alter, guys.
Yeah. And so now we're going to the...
Well, we can do that in a minute.
So now we're going to the traps. So we have 3 Eternal Souls. We want to go ahead and run those. Pretty much says every Dark Magician in your monster zone is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. And pretty much one of the things you could do is you can special summon 1 Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, or you can add 1 Dark Magic attack or 1,000 Knives from your deck to your hand. And this pretty much, you run 3 because if you want to go ahead, you want to try and get to the first part, which is you want to special summon a Dark Magician from your graveyard. If he is in your graveyard, you can go ahead and do that. And I have 2 Magician Navigation. Now, I have these ones that have like the triangle.
The misprinted ones from the mega packs from last year.
Yes, I have those until they went ahead and they fixed it. But I have these 2 because I thought it was
hilarious.
Yeah, it was interesting. I'm gonna say that it was interesting. So pretty much you can special summon 1 Dark Magician from your deck, and then you can your hand, sorry. You can special summon 1 level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster type monster from your deck. That's what I meant to say. And if you control Dark Magician, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 face-up spell or trap card your opponent controls, and it has its effect negated until the end of this turn. So pretty much, you can use this. You can special summon Dark Magician from your hand, and pretty much you can activate its other effect. You can special summon, probably, Dark Magician Girl if you have something like that. If you have a card that lists Dark Magician Girl to do something together, that can help you out in a pinch as well.
Or Apprentice Illusion Magician.
Yeah. I have 1 Solemn Warning. Basically, when either a monster or a spell or trap card is being summoned, you can pay 2,000 life points to negate the summoning or activation of any card and destroy it. Now, I figure you can use this, I would say, as a last resort. Like, if you really, really need to, you have no other choice, like, I would say if you have like if your opponent has a very powerful monster on the field, or a very powerful spell or trap card on the field, you can't get rid of it with any other type of effect.
I saw candy corn on the ground.
And you could go ahead and activate that quickly, or you can activate this one, which is my last card, Solemn Judgment. It basically says when a monster will be summoned or a spell or trap card is going to be activated, you can pay half your life points and negate it. And if you do, destroy that card. Now, I would say with these 2, it just depends on what you have, what you pretty much want to use.
Basically, it's 1 negates summons, 1 negates everything, 1 potentially can cost more life points than the other.
Yeah. Whereas this, you pay half. This, you just only pay 2,000. So pretty much what I do whenever I play, and if I'm lucky, if you have Secret Village as your field spell and you have a monster on the field, this pretty much sets up a lockdown for your opponent where they can't activate any spells. Mostly they'll forget, but just remind them, Secret Village is on the field. They can't really do much of anything unless they find a way to get rid of Secret Village, or they find a way to get rid of a Spellcaster monster. Normally they would aim for this for the field spell, but I know other people would probably aim for the Spellcaster first before they try and find a way to get rid of Secret Village. So with that done, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the extra deck for the Spellcaster deck that I have. This is going from Fusion to Link to Synchro to Xyz. So I'm going to start this off with 3 Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. And pretty much you need a Dark Magician and a Dragon Monster, or you could pretty much use the Eye of Timaeus to pretty much go ahead and fusion summon this card right here. Now, I know you're probably wondering, well, you have 3, but you only have 2 Eye of Timaeuses. Well, pretty much, if you have something that can recover, like a lost spell card, you can probably go ahead and get Eye of Timaeus back. You can go ahead and special summon, like, the 3rd Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, to the field.
Long story short, folks, 3 Eye Timaeus in this deck actually slows down the deck considerably. The reason why there's 3 was because we had 3. Let's be perfectly honest. One of them will probably get switched out for a Link Karibo.
We have
Akashic
Magician, which is a Link monster. You can use 2 monsters with the same type, except for tokens, so this will be good. Plus it's a spellcaster, so we can use that. Let's see. Once per turn, if this card is Link summoned, return all monsters. This card points to the hand. Once per turn, if you can declare 1 card name, excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the total Link rating of the Link monster. Co-link to this card. Then if you excavated 8 copies of the declared card, add them to your hand. Also send the remaining cards to the graveyard. Wow, that's a mouthful. But I like it. It's neat. It's cute. And I love the little design of it too. I have a Decode Talker. You can use 2 effect monsters.
No need to explain it. No need to explain Decode Talker. No, folks, at this point, after a year of this game being out, one of the first ones to come out, everybody knows what this one does. Moving on.
But if for some people that don't know, you could go ahead and pause the video and take a look at it yourself.
You can respond again.
I have a Tri-Gate Wizard, and you can use 2 monsters except for tokens. 2 or more monsters, as you see with the arrows, it has 3. And if you use the number of cards you use to Link summon it, you can activate 1 of 3 effects of this. For 1, if a monster is co-linked to this card, battles your opponent's monsters, any battle damage is inflicted to your opponent is doubled, which is good. 2, once per turn, you can target 1 card to the field and banish it. 3, once per turn, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, banish the card. Pretty much, if you want to go ahead, you want to use this and banish any type of card, you can go ahead and use number 3's effect.
Or you have to be co-linked to 3.
Yeah.
To do it though.
Okay, so now we're going to the synchros. I just only have 3 synchros. You guys know this one, Black Rose Dragon. Pretty much just blows everything up on the field. I have Crystal Wings Synchro Dragon. You can go ahead, you can use a tuner and 1 more non-tuner synchro monsters. You can go ahead and activate him. And pretty much what this does is that
he's Captain Negate.
Yeah.
He negates a monster effect. If he does it during the battle, he gains that monster's attack till the end of the turn.
And the last one I have Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. Again, pretty much you can use a tuner, 1 or more non-tuner synchro monsters, or non-tuner monsters, I should say. Pretty much.
Once per turn, he can blow up the field. He can blow up all monsters on the field with an attack equal to or less than his.
Yeah.
With an original attack equal to or less than his.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're getting to the Xyz.
I'm gonna make. Well, before you start the Xyz, I will say this: the bases of the Xyz monsters in this extra deck are rank 7. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Carry on.
So we're gonna start this off with Ebon High Magician. You want to have 2 level 7 Spellcaster type monsters on there, and pretty much when you detach an Xyz from him, you could go ahead and you can go ahead. Let me see. Detach.
You can activate a quick play spell or trap from your hand during your opponent's turn.
Yes. This can help you out. I only have one because, you know, one's probably pretty much all that you need. Now, there are 2 here that are not rank 7.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to show you these 2 here. So, I have one that is Slacker Magician. So, you need 2 level 1 monsters to activate her. And once per turn, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. And during either player's turn, when a card's effect is activated that targets this card, you can detach an Xyz material and you can negate the activation, and then you destroy the card. Now, if you really want to, you can go ahead. You could switch to this Downer Magician. It requires 2 level 4 Spellcaster type monsters. Now, I know probably you're going to be saying, well, why you want to switch from her to her? Well, because you can also kind of use her as an Xyz material to summon her, because if you kind of look at it, it's basically the same card, but they don't want to say it. So during this, your main phase 2, if you Xyz summon this card, and it basically says if you're using a rank 3 or lower Xyz monster you control as the Xyz material, this card gains 200 attack for each Xyz material that's attached to it. So that's also another reason why. So if this card attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict piercing damage to your opponent. And if this card attacks or was attacked after damage calculation, we can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. And that's basically it. This pretty much, I kind of saw these and I was like, oh, they're the same thing. Let me just go ahead and get it, because pretty much we also kind of saw that we can use any other rank monster as Xyz material. So, you know, Slacker can help you out there as well. I have Hierophant of Prophecy. Again, requires 2 level 7 Spellcaster type monsters. You can detach an Xyz material from this card, and you can destroy spell or trap card or cards your opponent controls, up to the number of spellbook spell cards you have in the graveyard. So this is also another reason why if you want to run this as well, you know, get some spellbook cards in your deck, because if they're in the graveyard, they could go ahead and you can go ahead and activate the effect of this guy. Number 11, I have Big Eye. Once per turn, you can attach the materials from this card, and you can turn 1 monster your opponent controls and take control of that monster. Number 42, Galaxy Tomahawk. Once you have this one on the field, you can detach 2 Xyz materials from this card and special summon as many tokens as you can. As possible, destroy them during the end phase of this turn. Also, you know, your opponent could take on further battle damage with this. Number 74, we have Master of Blades. It says during either player's turn, when you go ahead, you Xyz summon this, you can detach an Xyz material from this card and negate the activation of an effect from a card. And if you do that, you can destroy that card that you destroyed, and you can destroy up to 1 card on the field. We have Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Yeah, I know, I have like tiny bit of dragons in this deck, but again,
The thing she didn't mention about Dark Magician the Dragon Knight is, though it's a dragon, while it's on the field, it's treated as Dark Magician, and it protects your spell and trap cards. So.
Right. Pretty much, when you exceed this, you can detach an Exceed material from this card, and you can target one Red Eyes normal monster from the graveyard, special summon it. However, pretty much, I won't be able to because, you know, I have no Red Eyes in this deck.
Correct.
But, you know, may be useful to help you out. I have Ebon Illusion Magician. That's another spellcaster. Again, requires 2 level 7 monsters. Now, you can also exceed summon this card by using a rank 6 spellcaster type monster.
But you don't have any of those in the extra deck.
Yeah, I know that. And once per turn, you can detach an Exceed material from the card. You can special summon one spellcaster type normal monster from your hand or deck.
Dark Magician.
Yep. This is why you basically want to try and have Dark Magician. That's why I have 3. And it declares, if a spellcaster type monster declares an attack, you can target one card your opponent controls, banish it, and you can only use this attack effect once per turn. And the last one, I have Mecha Phantom Beast
Draco Sack.
Yeah. And it says you can detach an Exceed material to summon up 2 Mecha Phantom Beast tokens. And once per turn, you contribute a Mecha Phantom Beast monster that targets one card on the field. Destroy that target. This card cannot attack during the turn you activate this effect. And so that's pretty much it. This is pretty much, you know, my spellcaster deck that I have.
A couple people wanted to make quick cameos here.
Cool stuff, cameo. What's up? We support this 100%. Come out, play games. She'll teach you.
Continue.
So yeah, guys, this is pretty much my spellcaster deck. This is pretty much, like I said, this is my ace deck, and you know, Nightmare and his friends, our friends, have helped me make this deck for what it is. It's helped me out. It's pretty much, I'm still learning the deck as it evolves, so to speak. The more I try and get used to it, the more I can pretty much go ahead and do that. So that's pretty much it. And you know, if you guys have any ideas, or if you found this video helpful on what you want to do for your spellcaster deck, if you're running a spellcaster deck, you know, drop a comment down below. And thank you so much for having me on, Nightmare.
No problem, no problem. And folks, again, this is that's been Lunarstar103. Go check out her channel on Facebook, on YouTube. She's also part of our channel, our family on Facebook, which is also Twisted Nightmare Gaming, same as our Instagram and everything else. You have anything else you want to say?
Well, yes. On my channel, if you guys have seen my reviews on Power Rangers, Super Ninja Steel, and Ninja Steel, I also do reviews on the new series, Rise of the TMNT. I've also done some theories as well. If you guys love Steven Universe, I've done that. I've also done some playthroughs as well of some games that pretty much, you know, I've liked, and you know, some that are a little bit new. So make sure you check that out. Make sure also, as well, make sure you like this video and you subscribe to Twisted Nightmare Gaming's channel and ring the bell so that you can be notified of any other future videos that they are going to be doing. And stay tuned, because we're going to be doing a little bit more of these crossover type videos. Starting in the next one, I will have Nightmare come on to my channel, and we are going to be doing some stuff that is Power Ranger related. So stay tuned to that.
All right, folks. Again, this has been Nightmare from Twisted Nightmare Gaming. You guys have a great rest of your day.
Bye, guys.